What's up guys, it's me Vivi and welcome back to some Sly Cooper. Now a lot of you guys have been asking me when I'd be uploading my next Sly Cooper video, so here it is. Now the point of this video is to discuss about Sly's parents. Now his parents have been very mysterious throughout the series. Now Sly's dad has been mentioned quite a few times. However, when it comes to the mom, she was basically never mentioned. So hopefully you enjoy this video guys. With that being said, let's get right into it. If you've played Sly Cooper 1, Sly's dad's face was never shown. Now we don't know why Sucker Punch decided to do so. Were they hiding something? Were they planning on revealing his face later on in the series? We don't know. And then when Sanzaru came in, the whole parents thing remained a huge mystery. What do we know about Sly's father so far? His name is actually Connor, and his name was confirmed in 2010 in the official strategy guide. Before 2010, his father was basically nameless. Now, before Sly was born, his father worked with McSweeney the Walrus, Dr. M the Monkey. Dr. M was the brains and McSweeney was the muscle, basically like Murray and Bentley. However, Dr. M turned into a villain in the end. And McSweeney is basically in prison, and these three working together conducted robberies. I don't know if you guys ever knew about this, but there's an issue 1 and 2 released by Sucker Punch. These are basically very short comic books, and when it comes to story, they're pretty much canon. These were published by DC and GamePro magazine. Issue number 1 took place between the ending of Sly 1 and the beginning of Sly 2. Issue number 2 took place between the ending of Sly 2 and the beginning of Sly 3. There's something interesting about issue number 2. There's some backstory of McSweeney in prison, when Sly meets him basically. Now apparently, according to issue number 2, Jim McSweeney has been sending messenger pigeons in attempts of summoning Sly. Now when he first met Sly, he didn't recognize him. And once he did recognize him, he was just happy to see him. Now at a point, Sly notices a tattoo on McSweeney's hand, and the tattoo looked familiar. Not at first though. Sly remembers that his dad took him to a museum when he was 3 years old in Italy. And what happened in Italy back then is that his dad gave the map to the Cooper Vault to McSweeney to basically take care of it, so that the legacy remained safe. In other words, the map was basically hidden in the museum. Now Connor wanted Sly to know about the vault once he was old enough, hence, the events in Sly 3 take place. Why is McSweeney in prison exactly? Now after Dr. M betrayed the gang and his dad losing his life, he didn't feel useful anymore, he didn't know what to do with his life anymore, so he turned himself in. Okay, now right after Sly was born, Connor put an end to thieving activities or adventures to basically take care of Sly, and the legacy was safe in McSweeney's hands back then. Okay, now let's look at his dad's appearance a bit. He has the same clothes, same belt, same cane as Sly. The cane is Sly's basically. Now doesn't the dad look very similar to Sly? Now could this mean anything at all? I'll leave it here for now, alright? Okay, let's move on to his mom. Nothing was ever mentioned about her. Like, was she actually alive back then? Or was she killed as well by the Fiendish Five? No one really knows, it's a huge mystery. In Sly 1, Sly mentioned my father fought to protect us. However, we don't see his mother around. Was Sly's mother somewhere else at that time? Who knows? Us probably meant him, his mom, and dad. Could it be that his mom was against Sly following the Cooper's legacy? What if they got divorced at one point? What if she was a cop, just like Carmelita? What if she thought they were no longer compatible, a cop married to a thief? Who knows what happened at one point? Her name was never actually revealed. Now why did Sucker Punch keep these characters so mysterious? That's what keeps bugging us. We don't know. Like, this game has so many unanswered questions. Okay guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Well, not really. I just came up with a far-fetched theory, let's say. Some of you might think it sounds too crazy, but I thought it's kind of interesting, and thought about discussing about it. Okay, here goes. Since Sly's dad's face was never shown, nor his mother's, what if adult Sly from the future raised his younger self? Wait, here's the best part. What if Carmelita also raised young Sly? It sounds crazy, I know, but there's this portrait in the back at one point, where we see a raccoon and a fox who looks like Carmelita. Now the picture is very faint, but the hair reminds us of Carmelita. And no, Sly and Carmelita are not biological parents. It's like saying Carmelita became his son's girlfriend in the future. No. Hopefully this is clear for you guys. Okay, let's say Sly and Carmelita got stuck in that time and no longer had a way back. Sly with his cane basically ended up in that time, using Bentley's time machine. Once Sly time traveled, he realizes that his parents are not around. He finds young Sly alone, and at the perfect moment. Perfect moment meaning that Sly realized that his younger self was headed towards another orphanage, not the orphanage in which Sly met Bentley and Murray. Alright, let's just put the idea of future Sly sending younger Sly to the right orphanage on the side for now. Okay, he meets his younger self and asks him this question. Have you ever heard about the Thievius Raccoonus? And the kid replies, no. What is that? Let's get one thing straight here. If he were to send younger Sly to the right orphanage without knowing about the book, that would basically never turn Sly into the master thief he is. And once he found out he didn't know about the book, he decided to raise younger Sly on his own. And since future Sly knows what happens in the past, he actually knows the location of the Thievius Raccoonus. It's in the safe. Since Sly is stuck in that time with Carmelita, Sly decides to raise the kid and teaches him the good. Now what do I mean by good? In Sly Cooper 4, it was revealed that Sly's father actually stole a huge diamond. Now don't Coopers usually steal from criminals? That's where stuff gets confusing. I mean, were Coopers actually nice guys? We don't really know. And maybe some Coopers were bad guys, causing Clockwork to turn mad. Oh, and during that scene, his father actually looks a bit like Sly. Now what if that guy was the actual biological father of Sly? What if his biological parents are alive, or stuck in time somewhere? Now Sly 4 introduced time travel. Maybe someone sent his parents to another time, so they wouldn't be able to raise Sly, resulting in Sly not becoming a thief at all. Oh wow, theories keep piling up. Okay, let's go back to Carmelita. Things get a bit weird. Now since Carmelita found the whole situation weird, she just left Sly, thus explaining the mystery behind his mother. Well, not biological mother, I mean. Since future Sly raised his younger self, does this mean that the Fiendish Five killed Sly in the past, while future Sly who traveled in the past, I mean? If so, then how come none of them recognized Sly? Maybe Sly was a lot older when he raised his younger self. That would maybe explain the pipe smoking. He probably got into that at some point. Does that mean that young Sly basically got his cane from his older self? Oh boy. Now about the orphanage. What if future Sly actually sent his younger self to the right orphanage, where he would meet Murray and Bentley? Look, future Sly knew what was going to unfold, so he sacrificed himself and made sure young Sly would meet Murray and Bentley. Oh, and before I forget, if Carmelita from the future died in the past, then how come Sly in the past meets Carmelita in the future? I'm gonna assume that young Carmelita existed in that time. Was Carmelita's age actually given? I don't know, I'm not sure. The same goes for Sly. Okay, wait a second. One thing that might prove this theory false. The father's arm is shown brown in the first game, and seems to be wearing yellow gloves. Now, Sly wears blue and yellow gloves. That's where it gets confusing. So that basically means that his dad wasn't Sly from the future, unless Sucker Punch wanted to make it less obvious. Okay, now let's take the theory into another direction. Sly time travels, and ends up right when his parents are dead. He's devastated, and decides to send his younger self to the orphanage, where he would meet Murray and Bentley. However, that still leaves questions for the mother. Who was she? Or where was she? Was she actually killed? Were they divorced? Who knows? But wait, if they were divorced, wouldn't Sly remember? He actually never talked about his mom. What if their relationship wasn't so great? I mean, not with Sly and her mother, but Sly's father and his mom, I mean. But still, this whole mystery about his mom still leads towards the fact that she might actually be dead. Okay, now let's forget about Sly time traveling and raising his younger self. What if Penelope sent Sly to the orphanage? Now someone in the comments wrote an interesting theory and I'd like to kind of go over it a bit. Penelope time travels at first, manipulates the timeline to make sure Sly never becomes who he is. Heck, she probably sent him to another orphanage, just to make sure that Sly never becomes friends with Bentley. Of course, she must take into account her actually meeting Bentley. Without Sly, she never would have met Bentley. And with that being done, she goes back to the future and realizes that the world is totally corrupted, where criminals are roaming the streets like crazy, everything's going haywire. Sly not meeting his friends would cause him not to fulfill his legacy, which would result in a cruel and dark world. Later on, she realizes in order to fix this, she has to go back. Once she goes back in time, she sends him where he was supposed to be in the first place, the Happy Camper Orphanage. Basically, this would make Penelope a savior. Okay, but how come Sly never recognized her if this were the case? Probably Sly just doesn't remember, or two, she was disguised. Now this theory is pretty deep, but it's fun to talk about. Now the series might never get such a deep plot. And look, Penelope actually dressed as the Black Baron and no one recognized her. So it could be possible. And with that being said, this is the end of the video, guys. Now I've got a bunch of Sly Cooper videos planned for you guys, and hopefully you enjoy those videos once they're up. So was this theory too far-fetched for you guys? Tell me what you think in the comment section. Could Sly's biological parents actually be alive or stranded somewhere? Could this kind of story expand the series immensely? If you have anything to say, just mention in the comments. Oh, and I love reading the theories you guys come up with, they're pretty awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video guys, thanks for watching, I've been Vivi, and I'm out.